Welcome to Subramani. Again, I'm going to talk about a slightly controversial thing. Should you be investing for dividends or should you be investing for growth? The more you look at your portfolio, the more you will realize what you need, because if you're younger, let's say you're in your 40s or 50s, you don't really want any dividend, because you want your portfolio to grow. You don't want, what will you do with the dividend? You anyway are earning from your business or from your profession. So you don't really need the dividend. What do you do? How do you build a portfolio and not want dividend? Well, depends on how you build your portfolio. If you are a person who believes that your portfolio should be in direct equity, then you will have all kinds of shares, some which are good for dividend yield and some which are good for growth, but a combination will always happen. You will not invest only for growth, which is what is a very sexy thing to do, or you will not invest only for dividend, which is a little boring thing to do, but at least you are assured that you will get the cash flows. So you always deal with this conflict. Now, one is you say, okay, now it is more tax efficient to pay capital gains, so I will shift to mutual funds, be in growth option, and that too, let me make it even simpler. I will invest in an index fund. So and I will be in the growth option, and I will decide to do a systematic withdrawal from my portfolio on a regular basis. Say I put 1 crore or 2 crores in an index fund, and I will withdraw 50,000 per month for the rest of my life, and that should be good. So that is one way of handling it. The other way is, of course, to say I will create my own portfolio where some companies will be growth companies and some companies will be dividend companies. What is the difference? Suppose you're talking of an Oracle, you're talking of Colgate, you're talking of some of these companies. They don't have too many ideas of what to do with the money. They may have a high return on net worth and return on capital employed, but they can't deploy all the money that they have. So what they do is two things: either they could do a buyback, or they could declare a big dividend. Now, if you are in the highest tax slab in your 40s or 50s, the dividend is not attractive to you at all, simply because you're going to pay a huge amount of tax, and it is more efficient to pay capital gains tax. And it is even better if the company keeps doing a buyback and you don't participate in the buyback. There's a TCS buyback happening. I have a few shares of TCS and I will not be participating. So you say, okay, I will withdraw whenever I need, right? So this question of should you be dependent on dividends or should you create your own dividends is very difficult to answer. So the question is very simple. Suppose you set up a business with a young boy. You are 50 years of age and you set up a business with this 20-year-old boy or 22-year-old boy who does not understand too much about finances, and you have put in an X amount. Say he is not put in too much of money, but you have given him some sweat equity. So, and he comes to you every month and says, look, I have this money. Do you want dividends? Do you want to take it back? Do you want to withdraw it in some form? And you look at it and say, okay, if I take anything from here, I'm going to pay tax. Whether I take it as salary, consulting fees, whether I take it as dividend, it doesn't really matter. Yes, company is profitable, it is doing very well. Then you look at the return that person is getting, that boy is getting, the ROCE, RONW, and you find that he is getting a good return on net worth, which is perhaps better than what you are getting in your portfolio. And here you have a choice of what to do. So you tell that boy that, look, it doesn't matter that you have a surplus. I don't want you to give any dividend. Please continue to take your salary, but don't take any dividend, because let us plow it back. Why are you plowing it back? Because the returns are better. So have a look at your portfolio, look at what shares you have, and whether they are giving, whether those companies are giving a good return on net worth and return on capital employed. If the answer is yes, and they have good opportunities, you don't want such a company to pay a dividend. I mean, look at the growth rate for an Amazon, just by introducing new products or by just making changes. You're a Prime subscriber, very good. Last year you paid 1,000 rupees, now we have made it 1,500. Now 1 lakh users using it for Amazon Prime, they are going to increase their income from 1 lakh, 1 lakh per person, 1 lakh people, instead of paying 1,000 rupees, they'll pay 1,500. So straight 500 crore increase without much increase in infrastructure. So if the company does not need the money, the company will pay a dividend. The company which needs the money will not pay the dividend. So largely, like Modigliani Miller said, we are indifferent to whether a company pays dividend. So you want to be invested in companies like Amazon, which are very good growth companies and doing very well, and maybe after some time they will not be growth companies. You want to invest in the proverbial example of Johnson and Johnson in the US, which is a regular dividend payer, or an Amazon which cannot pay much dividend because they need the money, or the extreme case of Berkshire Hathaway, who says, I will not pay any dividend. If you want, create your own dividend. So like, going back to our example, this little boy is sitting with you and you say, no, you're getting good return, so don't pay any dividend. 1 year, 2 years, 5 years pass and you find that the return on net worth is going down because the company does not have enough opportunities to invest or does not have the bandwidth to invest. So now he has a surplus. So the boy comes to you and you say, okay, declare the dividend and let us take it as dividend. So you have to create your own dividends, right? And that is possible. So when you don't take any dividends from your friend, also your business is growing because the net worth of the business, if you were to sell off the business in toto, then you would get an X amount, and out of which a majority, maybe 50% or 60% belongs to you and 40% belongs to that boy. So you're happy selling out the business. And that can happen when somebody makes you a good offer, and therefore you keep looking at opportunity. It's not as though because you took dividends, the value increased or value did not increase. Because if you had not taken dividend, your business would be worth more. If you had taken dividend, the dividend would be worth, the business would be worth less. But you had the cash with which you could have done something. Now, if you have a longish portfolio of direct equity, how do you create your own dividends? Which means, how do you decide which share to sell? Now, that's a very difficult thing because FMCG may be doing very badly at that point in time, and everybody would be telling you that, oh, investing in FMCG is a contrarian strategy, so you should stick around that. And somebody saying, oh, now there is going to be infrastructure spend, so buy more of cement and infrastructure and those kind of companies. So you are now conflicted. What should you be selling and what should you be buying? Therefore, a portfolio approach helps. If you had invested in whichever portfolio, XYZ portfolio, and you needed money, you will send, suppose you needed 25,000 per month, you will just withdraw 25,000 per month. You don't have to agonize over which share and which share to buy, which share to sell. Right, so you don't have to worry about those things, and you can just go ahead and make your investment decision and create your own dividend. So it's not necessary that everybody should have a dividend portfolio. In fact, many people prefer to having a dividend portfolio because they feel less guilty spending the dividend, because they think, oh, I have not anyway touched the principal. Whereas when you do a systematic withdrawal plan, a portion of the money which could be coming to you could be your principal. So that scares people. So people don't want to do that. They would rather live off the dividend. So whatever you wish to do, consider the opportunity that you should not withdraw money from businesses which are doing well, but you should withdraw money from businesses which don't know where to invest. So that brings us to another concept called DRIP. The companies which are doing very well and not paying any dividend because they need the capital, fantastic, but it is for you to decide when it is overvalued, when it is undervalued, or whatever you understand of it. At least when it is undervalued, you remove money from there, you sell those shares and put that money in bucket number 1. As simple as that. Thank you.